From Kickstarter to reality, could the Lymow One be the best mower of 2025? We're about to find out. Let's get to the unboxing. This exciting sponsored content is brought to you by Lymow. And if you're not familiar with the Lymow One, it's an amazing robotic lawnmower that'll mow pre-programmed areas of your lawn so you don't have to. Matter of fact, if it runs low on charge, it'll go back to the charger by itself, recharge, then go back to where it left off to resume the mowing task. And there's a lot of details that we're gonna go over in this video. Woo, the sneak peek. This is exciting times. And for a lot of you guys out there that back the Kickstarter, I can't imagine the anticipation that you have backing a project and being able to see it come to life. And I'll tell you this, it looks really good, but let's get it on the lawn and check it out. Lymow One comes as a complete kit. We have the RTK antenna with optional roof mount. We have this massive battery that came with it and the charge station. And of course, we have the Lymow One. If you're a friend of the channel, you know that I reviewed the prototype version of the Lymow One during its Kickstarter campaign. If you want to see that, I'll post a card here. The Lymow One, it quickly became a fan favorite with its one-of-a-kind dual cutting rotary style blades and tank style design. Now here's what Lymow One is now promising us about the mower. Lymow One has a cutting width of 16 inches and has adjustable heights of cut that range between 1.2 and 4 inches, all adjustable through the application. Uses rotary blades that spin up to 6,000 RPMs, mowing speeds that range between 1 to 3.3 feet per second. It runs on a 15 amp hour Life PO4 battery at 39 volts and gets an amazing 3 hours of runtime per charge, which is just crazy. Charging takes 90 minutes with the fast charger or about 6 hours with the standard charger. It can cover just below 25,000 square feet or 0.57 acres on a single charge and less complicated lawns all the way up to 1.73 acres per day. It handles slopes up to 45 degrees, which is the most I've ever seen on paper. And navigation uses RTK and VSLAM with 3,200 foot RTK range, which it connects through Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or 4G. The obstacle detection uses AI vision on the front and complemented with 5 ultrasonic sensors. Noise level is surprisingly low at 68 decibels. It's water resistant with an IPX6 rating and works in temperatures from 14 to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Storage temperatures can range between -4 to 131 degrees Fahrenheit. Very excited to get the Lymow One up and running. My lawn is a hot mess, could really use a trim. So let's get the installation started. Now, general thumb, this is what I found, and I've kind of peeked in the instructions. I've had the opportunity of setting this up before. Installation is pretty easy. I'm gonna keep the base station 3 to 6 feet off of the house to make sure that we have line of sight with the sky with the machine. Then I'm gonna find an open spot for the RTK antenna. Ideally, you want it in an area that does not have any tree cover or anything that would impede a signal coming at it at about a 45-degree angle on both sides. And that's about it. And I'm guessing I can get this up and going in about 5 minutes. I think about the only thing that's gonna bring us down a little bit is probably the firmware update. Let's see if we get this done in record time. Moment we've all been waiting for. Let's start the mow. Almost done with our first cut with the Lymow One. And there's a couple of things I'm really happy with. The machine this go around, it's quieter than the last round. This is about what you're gonna hear. It sounds almost like a vacuum. Now, the other thing that I want to point out is we are cutting a lot of grass off the top. As far as cut quality goes, look at this. It is so plain. This is awesome. And the best part about the Lymow having real mower blades, I gotta sharpen it as often as I want. So I'm really going to be the one dictating how clean of cut that I'm going to get. But it just goes to show how consistent that deck is being with staying level. It looks so good all the way down. Look at this. So I've got it on precise edging. So it's going exactly how I mapped it and does such a nice clean job on these edges. Now, the best part about this is it's going to limit the amount of weed whacking that I'm gonna need to do on the edge, which I always find very valuable. Hey, look at this, before the mow, after the mow, lawn slayed. Now, there's some positive benefits to having these tracked wheels and a heavier mower, and that is the stripes. I mean, you're gonna see no matter what kind of lawn that I put it on, the stripes this thing lays, they're thick and juicy. As far as impressions go, keep in mind that I've been testing this mower now for over a month on several different properties, and the prototype really gave us a glimpse at what was possible, but the production model, it's clearly leveled up. First, the build quality, noticeably better. The final version, it feels tighter, more durable, more refined across every part of the chassis. The cutting system now features dual high lift blades made from manganese steel, rated an HRC 40 hardness. It's designed for better durability, sharper cuts, and the blade deck has been re-engineered for cleaner grass discharge, and the clipping spread is more even, reducing buildup and mulching better than before. So you can now choose to run in mulching mode or simply install the plastic cowls for side discharge mode. You guys asked for it, they delivered an open battery compartment, which means that you can easily swap the battery in and out. It's literally this easy. Comes on a little glide, push it in, and voila. So if you guys have massive properties and you don't want to deal with charging times, you can simply take the battery out, put a new one in, and you're good to go. Now, under the hood, the battery got a major upgrade. It's now a 15 ampere hour, 39 volt, 528 watt hour pack with lab tests showing 80% capacity retention, even after 2,500 charge cycles, which means with a faster charger, it'll charge in 1.5 hours. And these massive batteries means that you can now mow up to 20,000 square feet per mow. Yep, 20,000 square feet per mow in wide open areas. Now, my property was not gonna give the Lymow One any justice, so I've hopped from property to property just to see how far I can push the Lymow One. Now, this property is a wide open property. This zone is probably about 6,000 to 7,000 square feet, and it's got open areas, but it's also got massive trees. And if you look up the top here, the biggest thing about this property that I wanted to see is if this RTK was going to be limited in any sort of fashion. Now, if you guys have seen the original video that I did for the Kickstarter, we legitimately had no problems under tree cover. So I wanted to push it just a little bit further. So far, that binocular camera in the front and those supersonic sensors doing a fantastic job. Not only is it striping really well, it's going over all the leaves really well, but the other thing is this, I didn't program it at all for no-go zones. And so when it hits these bushes and these obstacles, it's having to figure it out all by itself. It's doing a very good job. I mean, look at how close we are to the border edge. It's probably within 3 inches here, and then here we're within an inch, and then on this border edge we're within another 3 inches, doing exactly what they said it would do. But check out those stripes. We are looking good. One of my favorite parts about having a mower like the Lymow One, especially with the tracks, is the striping. I mean, look at this. And the best part about it is the way that the robot is doing it, all the stripes are lining up, even around the tree. Look at this. It all lines up. It looks so good. But going over leaves and standard twigs has not been an issue. And just as they showed online, it mulches them up, does a good job grinding them down. Out of all the comments that I get on most of the robotic mowers is, can it mow hills? Rather than talk about it, let's just show you. This is the hilliest yard that I could possibly find. I've got slopes that range between 22 degrees on up to 32 degrees. And I find that most people don't understand how steep anything above 22 degrees really is. I've got slopes this world's never seen before, but this is it. I mean, this is absolutely nuts. Now, I'm gonna show you not only can it make a pass vertically, but it'll also go horizontally without toppling over. And I gotta say, it is just so satisfying to watch how this robot handles these hills. It has no problems getting up the hill. It's got no problems getting down the hill. And if it has something it doesn't feel like it can handle at the moment, it just kind of turns around and then it tries it again. So it's got some protective features to it that make this thing insanely valuable, especially when it comes to slopes like this. Now, I will say, after talking to the homeowner, he gave up trying to mow this lawn. Matter of fact, he pays the local kid every single week to mow this lawn, but having a robot mower that can handle something like this, man, this is awesome. So let's take a pause on the mowing real quick and get into the Lymow One application. Now, when I originally set this up on the homepage, it was gonna tell me to create a map. Since I've already done that, that is gonna be the first thing that you're gonna see, is to view the map. From this page, we can choose to mow all zones, or we can go into selecting individual zones to mow. So if I just want to do the front yard, or just want to do the backyard, or even both the front yard and the backyard, not the side, I can do that. Now, one of the things that I like the most is if you hit the edit button and you go into configure a zone, we choose a zone, we can really get each zone dialed individually with how we want. So if I wanted my ryegrass at 1 inch and I want my fescue at 2 inches, I can do that through these settings. But a lot of these settings kind of surprised me. You can change the cutting height, the blade speed, the moving speed. You can change the stripe angle, which is one of my favorite things to mess with. Even the path spacing, the mowing order. This one, I've never seen this before. Turn off the outer mowing motor. So only one of the two blades, the blade on the inside, will mow the perimeter edge. You can even change the type of mowing pattern, where it be zigzag, or if you want to chessboard it and have it go over twice, and then you can change the relative chessboard angle as well. So out of this, that is a lot of settings, but surprisingly, if we go back to the home page, there's even more settings. Let's say that we wanted to mow at nighttime. Well, we can set up the headlights to turn on at a specific time of the day. And in this area is where you're gonna set your scheduling. So you can schedule all zones, or you can schedule individual zones. So if you wanted plans A, B, and C, because you have more than 1 acre that you wanna get through, but you don't wanna mow it every single day and you wanna trade off, you can do that. But this is a very comprehensive app, and I feel like most of the settings are very easy to get through. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there are really concerned about the machines getting stolen, so it does have anti-theft devices built into it as well. So one thing I've really enjoyed is the maintenance side of this machine. This whole front end ends up pulling upward, so you have easy access for changing the blades and also cleaning the deck. It's really just this easy. You push and hold the plus button, and then it goes through some sequences and then starts to raise the deck. Not only can I change the blades, but it allows me to be able to sharpen the blades. Now let's talk about this, because we've got a couple different options here. For me and my lawn, I'm sharpening my blade about every 20 uses. And I do this because I want to make sure that I have a nice, clean cut. So what do you do if you have acres and acres of property, but you've got rocks, you've got bumps, divots, and it's just not perfect like this? Well, Lymow came up with the perfect answer. They actually came out with a blade called a swing blade. So as it's swinging and rotating, if it hits a rock, it gives. So the benefit of this is if it hits a rock or gets jammed up, it's not going to burn out the motor. This is an optional blade set that is for sale on their website. So we're talking a little bit about the swing blade as being a useful option, but what if your grass is taller? For taller grass, in my mind, that's where the side discharge comes in. And so the side discharge is actually pretty easy to install. There's a screw here. There's also a screw underneath that we need to take off. This cowling slides off. This cowling simply gets put in its place, and we put the screws back in. As far as fitting the blades on, you're gonna put the cutting side up, and they put these notches in here, triangle and a circle, to make sure that you fit them the right direction. Now on the opposite side, you're gonna have triangle, triangle, and again, cutting side up. So if you try to put them on upside down, it makes it very difficult to do. It's a nice little safety feature there, in my opinion, especially when you're dealing with a dual blade situation. But the coolest part about this is now I've grown my lawn out in the backyard, so I can kind of show you why we would want to do a side discharge. So we're gonna see how well this works out. But now all the airflow is coming through here, and blam, it's gonna come right through the side. So I'm pretty excited to see how well this works. Let's move on to my favorite segment, ruining Ginja's lawn for the sake of testing the Lymow. And on today's episode, we're gonna scalp mow my lawn. We're gonna see how well the side shoot works while testing out how many inches of grass we can legitimately take off the top. So I've been growing this backyard out for about 3 weeks now, just so I could stress it out. You know, why not? So we're gonna check some of these sections out. Like this one, for instance, we are at about 11 inches at the top. This section here, we're at about 10. And then I would say the average is kind of stressed out. We're about 5-6 inches. Well, let's not waste any time. This incredibly fun task, made a couple of adjustments. The major issue is this. I wanted to make sure that the blade speed was at the highest. So I've got the blade speed at 5,000. I also, I'm only doing one perimeter lap on the backyard. It's not super big, but I also wanted to slow the machine down. Now, the reason why I did that is because we're literally chopping off. We're taking it down in some areas from 11 inches all the way down to 2 3/4. And in some, we're chopping it down from 6 inches all the way down to 2 3/4. So I want to give it the best chance possible that we have. Check this out. He's a chomping, baby. And I wouldn't say that we've gotten to the tallest part of the grass yet, but I mean, look at this. It's just taken off a ton of grass. You can see it's clearly cutting. I mean, look at the height difference between here and here. This is awesome. So here's what I want you to pay attention to, right? At the top here, we're 9 inches. I'd say the majority of the grass is around 8 inches. Right now, we're cutting it down to 2 3/4. That's a lot of real estate off the top. Lymow handling it well. Don't expect it to have everything in one pass looking crispy and clean. So we're gonna do 2 passes and we'll do an aftershock. Finalizing going over the backyard twice now, and these are our results. I mean, look at this. Here he is going back to the docking station. But look at these stripes, man. It's looking good. Let's check out this cut quality, right? Look at this. Cut is so good now they changed the blades. And I say it gets better. I mean, keep in mind, gone over this 2 times, so not a lot of fraying. I would have expected a little bit more, but look at this. It's just like a sheet of carpet. I mean, considering how much we beat this grass up, I'm actually really, really happy with this. This is great. I mean, even look at the backyard. Look at this. Fantastic. fantastic. After testing both the prototype and the final production unit, it's clear that Lymow didn't just polish the design, they genuinely leveled it up. Cut quality is better and cleaner thanks to the re-angled high lift blade system they recently launched. It improved air quality, discharge, and as a result, you get better cut quality. Traction's also better, the battery lasts longer, and the rear swappable battery design makes it more practical for larger lawns. The application also feels more stable than the prototype. Obstacle detection is getting dialed in and better after every firmware update. Also worth mentioning, the updated designs holds its lines even on slopes and uneven terrain. And here's what really stood out. This is the first robot mower that I've tested that doesn't behave like a delicate mulching mower that needs to run 5 to 7 days a week just to keep up. You can run this thing through thick grass and it handles it. You don't need to pick up every twig or leaf before you mow. It can power through it. Just keep in mind, if you choose to run it that way, you're gonna have to sharpen the blades more often. But here's how I feel. This is one of the very first robotic mowers I feel like you can treat more like a traditional lawnmower. For some of you guys out there, even like a light duty brush mower. That said, if you want that ultra clean finished look, I'd still run it 2 to 3 times per week, cutting the clippings down into confetti sized pieces for proper mulching. Now the MSRP is $2,999, but it's now available for just $2,499. This is a strong option for homeowners who want power, durability, and flexibility in a smart mower. Let's get into my favorite part of the video, which is going over the pros and the cons of owning the Lymow One. Now you probably tell that I like the machine. I mean, what's not to like? It's built like a tank in many ways, it acts like one too, but it's also refined enough to handle a lawn like mine, still capable of mowing huge open areas that are full of bumps and have uneven terrain. Now I've watched the Lymow One's front deck climb right over a 2-inch lips, just like they advertised, and the way that they designed the deck, it actually protects the mower blades too when that happens. So Lymow One even created those new swing blades specifically for tackling pasture type areas. And for daily mowing, I've loved being able to sharpen the blades myself to keep that nice tight cut. And that slope test, it honestly blew me away, but it hasn't been perfect. Every now and again, it'll miss a line here and there, and I noticed on more complicated lawns, it can bounce from one part of the yard to another within the same zone. But the good news is it always goes back to get it, and it's mostly software related, and it's improved noticeably with each firmware update. The app itself takes a little getting used to. You'll need to learn where everything lives, but once you do, you realize just how many options you have to really dial in your property. So you get those nice border perimeter edges, and if you want that real nice striped look, you can have it. But my favorite setting has got to be the return to dock by following the perimeter mode. It leaves behind these nice striped lines that make the lawn look sharp without having a random one through the middle. So for anybody with a large property, the Lymow One is hard to beat. At the end of the day, I think it has a rock solid foundation to become a top contender within the robotic mower space. Ultimately, the Lymow One, it's in a category all by itself. A robotic lawnmower with 2 high lift blades. They're resolving concerns in the marketplace. It's a mower that can plow through 1 3/4 acres per day or be refined enough for somebody that wants a nice clean cut for their yard. The Lymow One has come a long way from the early Kickstarter days. The production unit isn't just better, it's a big step forward in both design and performance. I'll be sure to leave a link of the product in the description down below if you want to check it out for yourself. In the meantime, guys, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, hit me up down in the comments down below. You know I'd love to help you guys out. Till next time, guys, it's Pest and Lawn Ginja. We're slaying lawns.